Hello, welcome back. This one is going to be an interesting video. I will bring forward some interesting news pieces about Alibaba, which I really think they deserve attention here. And in this one, we're not going to be analyzing the Alibaba financials. I have done it in previous videos. But we're going to talk about some geopolitical tensions, what is happening right now, and some very important and interesting articles that I read recently. Now, if you are new here, please remember to leave a like and subscribe, and remember that you can always join our Discord channel and become a patron in order to get access to this tool. And you can find links in the description box below this video. In this one, we are going to take a look at some articles, as I mentioned, and this stock news module actually helps me get a hold of these articles quite quickly. And I was looking at this one, which is very interesting here. A forecasting model used by the CIA predicts a surprising turn in US and China relations. And if you have been a long-time subscriber of this channel, you know that I have talked about this concept months ago. I was basically making videos telling you that I am anticipating that there will be a change, a reverse course eventually. After the stock goes down a lot, after the Chinese market tanks pretty much, there will slightly be some positive news slowly stacking, because this is what happens with cycles. This is what happens with market cycles. And if you people think that the big funds and basically investors, big investors want China to suffer, you are wrong. The thing that they want is to actually make money out of the situation. And the way to make money is tank something and then buy it when it's low. And so this is what they are doing. And in some situations, you may not even know about it, because if they are buying Hong Kong shares, you won't be getting a 13F describing the sales and buys that they are doing. So this is very interesting here, because the CIA obviously tends to be very right in their forecasts, in their models. And you will see here that the administration could soon lower tariffs if some power plays in Washington and Beijing take flight. And we have actually heard about this news. Tensions will ease significantly between the US and China soon, as Biden actually slashes consumer tariffs and Beijing welcomes the move, at least privately. So this is again something that we have known about. It's in the recent news. And this is a very important first step in the relationships between the two countries, of course. And I'm pretty sure it's going to get followed by more to come. But it's interesting that the fact that the surprising outcome of a forecasting model that the Central Intelligence Agency has used and praised, and which was deployed for Politico magazine to seek insights on whether the most important geopolitical relationship is going next. And you can read the finer details here. I'm not going to go into this one because the video will likely get boring. This is pretty much a scenario, and it's played out as a game almost. And you can find the URL here if you are interested in this one. But you will see at some point in the article, if you read through, that the models that CIA generates have about 87% success rate. And so, as you can understand, 89, sorry, the CIA study found was accurate 89% of the time. That's the BDM model that they are using in this one, which is explained to the core details here. And so you may want to pay close attention to this one, especially coming from the CIA. That's an important one to pay attention at, and it may be an interesting and worthwhile read here. Now, the other article that I wanted to examine is one that I'm fully in agreement with. March earnings and Bridgewater position here is another thing that we may not have talked about a lot. But Bridgewater is one of the institutions that Ray Dalio was actually not a founder. I think it was he may have been a founder. I'm not entirely sure, but he was definitely one of the core people actually behind the acquisitions that Bridgewater was making. And right now, I believe he's in the board of the institution and basically trying to provide insight. Now, there are some interesting things that are being discussed in this article, and I kind of wanted to take a little bit of a look. Now, the author mentions that Ray Dalio should definitely be part of the thesis. Now, I don't necessarily agree with this one. I don't want to have any other investors being a part of the thesis, but it definitely is important that an investor of this sort, who has deep insights into the markets, he's a very well known one, doing very well. He has increased. I mean, Bridgewater has their holdings in Alibaba by 75% in the recent filing. We will examine that in a little bit more detail later as well. And we are seeing the company pretty much surging here. You will see that they actually bought, that's Bridgewater, 3.2 million shares here, an increase of about 75%. Now, we have also heard things about Alibaba pretty much getting a little bit of a better treatment from China themselves. It looks like China is going to be kind of alleviating the pressure for that has caused to these tech companies, really, and basically the whole Chinese market. And the article kind of talks a little bit more in detail about what is happening here with Alibaba, and Ray Dalio telling you a few things about what is happening with China, with people potentially thinking that China is a caricature of the past, which is not really the case right now, because China is kind of quickly surpassing the US really in terms of their economy. And so the US has definitely has to be careful about China as a strong player, very, very strong player, on becoming the strongest economy in the world right now. And you will see here what happened with Bridgewater. You can see that Alibaba over here it has been increased from Bridgewater 75%, a 3.2 million shares increase here, which is a large part of their portfolio as well, 3.28. And you will notice that their estimated average price paid was $143. So they did do that a few months ago, maybe a couple of months ago or so. And yeah, that was their cost basis, so which is, I think, still very, very cheap for what Alibaba is worth and what I believe it's going to be worth in the next 5 to 10 years. Now, the political climate, very important, is changing too, right? So you will see here that, again, what we discussed earlier, the country should push forward to stabilize the economy, which has a lot to do with stabilizing the companies that they have been completely annihilated during this current phase of the markets. And you will eventually see that COVID-19 comes under control. I mean, it has already been under control. I would say that they stopped doing these nonsensical lockdowns, but this will eventually happen. And at the very end, we are expecting a firm turnaround in what is happening with the Chinese market and pretty much all these stocks that have been battered down here. And also important, the fact that we examined Baba earnings results here, which came better than expected. Total revenue at 32.1 billion, a growth of 9%, and beating the consensus estimate by about 3 billion, which is very, very substantial here. 1.25 diluted EPS, a decline of 23% by beating the consensus estimate still, though, by 16 cents, which is a pretty significant beat as well. Now remember, we had lower expectations here, and this is one of the core reasons why the quarterly earnings were actually deemed as a beat, and a massive beat at that. Now, the last couple of things to point out here, which are very, very interesting, is that another Alibaba milestone, for example, is Baba Cloud, which reported its first profitable fiscal year. And finally, the international commerce is another highlight since it actually grew 13% year over year after being separated from China's commerce. Now, I wanted to kind of take a little bit of a look at this couple of articles here, and especially the first one. The first one was, I think, the most important one, because you cannot just dismiss what is happening by the CIA, and I'm actually even surprised that we're learning about this. I do want to study this one in a little bit more detail, maybe find out some more details about it, and maybe I can make another article and talk a little bit about it in more detail in the future. But as I mentioned again in the past, I really firmly believe that eventually we're going to be seeing a complete change in what is happening with China right now, and the US, of course. I think that slowly, again, good things will start accumulating, and I'm pretty sure you will eventually see a boom in the stock price of Alibaba. Everything points to that, and it may take a little bit of time. Again, it may go down, up and down for quite some time. But frankly speaking, myself, I expect this to happen rather sooner rather than later. I don't know, of course, I don't have a crystal ball, but everything that I'm reading here and everything points me to this situation potentially happening rather soon, because the Chinese stock market has already been battered down tremendously, and at some point you have to see the reversal, because again, That's how you make money. You can't keep making money suppressing the Chinese market for a long time. You have to suppress it for a short time and then buy and then unravel the unsuppressing act is how you end up making money. And when you are buying at the low prices, this is when you can actually harvest the results. So thanks for watching the video, guys. Let me know what you think about Alibaba. I think this one was very interesting, and I'd love to hear your opinions about what is happening right now. What are you expecting from Alibaba? Are you firm in your position as you were maybe a couple of months ago? Has anything changed for you? Let me know with a comment below, and thank you for watching this one. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.